this whole little LA scene that they got, the whole LA comedy scene. If you know Joe Rogan, dude, it's like you have instant success.
Yeah.
So Brendan Schaub has his assistant, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a weirdo, man. So, he's like a really big name on the internet right now, but, what's his fool's name again? Mark Harley. And he's this like really odd looking duck. He's like super muscular. He's a long hair, the jawline that could smash walnuts. It's insane.
He literally looks just like the dude from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
If you look up Mark Harley, then next look up the guy from Flight of the Conchords. What's his name?
Dinner for
Jermaine
Shmucks,
something.
too. Yeah.
And Dinner for Shmucks. He looks just like this guy. It's hysterical.
The real life version of him. And it's funny because like, man, I mean, could you imagine living this life? Him and his old lady, they put all their toxic stuff on the internet. And I'm telling you right now, man, like,
you could tell that they just like the attention too. You pointed that out. Like that's that couple that fights all the time but will never leave each other.
Yeah.
And they just like the toxicity and they just like the yelling and the screaming and just the vileness. There are people that just revel in that shit.
Yeah.
But how we figured it out is if you find the video online, he's attacking her. She's trying to leave, and he's attacking the car. So he's like literally lifting the back of the car. It's a tiny car, and he's like lifting up so she can't like drive away and shit. And he starts like kicking the side of the car, kicking the window, and she's playing the victim role in the front seat, and she's recording him doing it. There's a key here. She's recording him doing it. Saying, "Oh my God, he's attacking me. This and that, and the other thing." But she has it. She has the camcorder on her phone facing her in selfie mode. So it's her and then him in the back window, and she's talking and like playing the victim the entire time while her face is on the screen while she's wearing sunglasses. If that were real, you wouldn't pull up your phone to record and then click the little switch thing and then position it just so we're both in frame. You would just be recording him for evidence sake. You wouldn't do that shit. She's an attention whore.
And at one point she went like this. She literally fixed her hair at one point and started backing up.
And also, if you're
really
pulling your phone out because you're
life-
getting attacked, you're pulling it out to call the cops, not to take video selfies.
You know what though? It's funny because
Clown.
think back to when you were a teenager and everybody knew one of those toxic relationships. They constantly fight.
Oh, we've met him a million times.
Yeah.
All of us have.
And it's funny because it's like back then you just kind of sit there and they'd be fighting and they'd like start pulling each other's hair and maybe like one would hit one another and then it was kind of like,
hitters.
oh, you fucking remember them bitches and you
Throwing
have to,
shit.
throwing shit and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, dude. There's one thing that I've learned: if that shit starts to happen, I will say something. I'd be like, fucking stop! I'm out of here, and you walk away.
I'm leaving.
Isn't that? Remember when you were a kid and like you'd be in a really bad position, you don't want to be there, but you stay. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
that,
you were
like,
paralyzed when you were a kid, though.
Yeah.
Now you can just Irish goodbye that shit.
Now you're just like, bye, boom.
Irish
gone.
spaghetti, Irish goodbye.
Exactly.
Peace.
The ability to just stand up and get the fuck out of there wasn't always a choice. When you were a kid, you'd have to stick around to see what happened.
Dude, that was the worst feeling ever when I was a kid, when my parents would be like having a knockdown, drag it out, and I'm like 8 years old. I'm tiny. I'm just hearing screaming and yelling and just vile shit. You were literally terrified. I would just turn the TV up. At first, after a while, it's just like white noise. But I remember I would just be like turning the TV up, just like.
Did they have some like real blowouts, man? Yeah.
Italians, bro.
Yeah.
My dad's from Brooklyn.
Did that ever get? I shouldn't even ask you that on here. But
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A similar situation.
I remember there was a giant hole in my dad's door, fish-shaped hole, and I didn't understand where that came from when I was a kid. And I did when I got a little older. Because my dad's a tank of a man. He's a fucking giant arms, stocky. He's that low center of gravity, just a monster, dude. He was a monster.
You know what? I'm thinking
Strong as
Italian right
shit.
now too, and I'm picturing the perfect guy right
Dude.
now. Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. My dad had those lunchbox fists. Like, he was just a stocky dude.
You know what? And people look at this like, oh, you know, it must be crazy and stuff like that because people don't put up with that stuff anymore. I'm telling you right now, even if they passionately fight, there was like a passionate love too. And I'm not saying it's
Some
good 'cause
people.
it was bad.
There
you know
is
what
that.
I
There
mean?
is that brand.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, like your mom and dad, you
Yeah.
always tell me about that, but it sounds like they had the real thing at the end of the day.
They
Also,
did.
my grandfather and my grandfather, I come from a long lineage of lunatic men. Like, I didn't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a wild dude. He was mobbed up. He used to like run like illegal gambling and shit like that.
Running
Like,
numbers and
dude,
stuff.
The Latanza heist in Goodfellas, they sold a bunch of that jewelry out of his basement. And he had a
They
store.
fenced it there?
He had a
Jesus
store called
Christ.
Doc Sugar Bowl in Brooklyn or whatever that my great grandfather had started and my grandfather inherited. Very successful place. It was a diner, and it was a neutral zone. So there'd be like cops and wise guys, and no one talked business. Everyone just ate there and had a good time. It was like this weird neutral zone.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, they fenced a lot of that jewelry out of his basement. But the point is that he was a wild, crazy maniac, and him and my grandmother, I'm sure, had a million fights like that. I mean, I've seen shit. You know what I mean? And they loved each other. She was there when he had cancer the whole way through. When he died, she was devastated. She caught him cheating on him. He was the classic guinea dude. He had a girlfriend. He bought her an apartment and would pay for the apartment and put her up or whatever.
Yeah,
the girlfriend. Yeah. She called the house looking, and my dad actually blew up the spot. My dad was like, so and so. Yeah. He was like, what the fuck? Like, and then like he would come home. My grandma was like dumping clothes on the fucking driveway or whatever. All that shit.
And he's like, clean it up, and she'd come down and do it.
All that shit, man. Yeah.
Nobody took care of their community like the Italians did. I mean, you couldn't do anything.
That's true.
It was a really tight thing. They took care of their own. I will always respect that. Italian Americans came out here getting spit on and everything else.
You guys too, though.
Yeah, same shit.
Irish
same
too,
shit.
man.
The Irish mafia was a little bit different, but the
just
Italians
like
really
us,
took
though,
over.
we were self-possessed and enterprising people.
Yeah.
We weren't the type to just get shit on by the system and do nothing about it. Like you guys, it's funny because you guys become cops or criminals. That's it. But either way, you're kind of like in positions of authority. You know what I mean? Like you push. You guys push. You're strong people.
Well, you know, it's if you're, dude, it's if you're
never was the Irish hand out. I've never seen an Irish person with their hand out ever in my life. Actually, never.
Yeah. You know what I've never seen? I've never seen a Chinese homeless man.
Dude,
have you ever seen a Chinese homeless man?
I've never seen that.
And not in a movie. Have you ever seen a Chinese homeless man? I think,
oh my God.
I think that those
he's just doing the crane stance on, on a pile of garbage.
I think they're so, you know, like trained for success and working
it's
hard.
Just
and
unacceptable
stuff like that,
to be anything less.
Yeah, that if they don't work hard, that they'll just keep the family will just keep them in the basement, not seen to anybody.
They
I've never.
They just get them out of there.
I've driven by the Mission a million times, dude. I've never seen some Chinese dude standing out there waiting for stuff. You know,
fair point, man. Fair point.
Trip, huh? You know.
That's interesting.
So that dude's ridiculous, man. Him and his old lady are doing these.
you talking about Mark? Yeah. Sorry, getting back to that.
But same thing. I know we're crazy today, but same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just so ridiculous, man. And I was asking him before the show. It's like, what does it come down to? It's like, are they? You know, how much is real? Do they really feel, or do they know that they're getting more views and people get drunk off those views? Are they getting more views and
they're
more
attention
likes
whores
for it? You know what I mean?
Like we were talking about before the show, because they're older, like they're, you know, our generation, up above us, I would say, even, right? They're older than us.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. At any rate,
not too much older, but yeah.
Let's put it this way. They were putting that show on for the neighbors before there was social media, and now they're just extending it to the rest of us.
Those 20-year-olds, those newlyweds, they're just kicking the shit out of each other. You remember when,
because you lived in the ghetto too, right?
Of course.
I lived in a ghetto ass neighborhood out here in Las Vegas, which, by the way, doesn't sound, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's actually a lot of fun in a lot of ways. But anyway, we all had those crazy ass neighbors that would have knockdown, drag it out fights next door. You can hear them screaming like they were in your living room. You'd be eating dinner at like my house with my family, like they're at it again.
Yeah.
It was just like those people. Yeah. You'd see them like running outside. Fuck you. I never want to see you again. God. And he gets in the car and speeds off, and then the next day they're out there like, you know, they're gardening or whatever. They're fine.
That's when you take the lights.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, no, that's when you turn off the lights and you walk to your blinds and you barely lift. There's the very, very corner of the blind so you could see what goes on. And then he walks over and he just knocks the girl and you're just like, what just happened?
You literally see him putting on brass knuckles and he's doing this, like just feeling it out, and just dinks her.
Dude, but you know what? There was one rule is that this has always been my rule. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of dudes that white knight for chicks and stuff like that. I'm telling you this right now. Two things could go on. You could go out there and you could, you know, stick up for some girl fighting with her dude.
Don't do that.
And if he winds up fighting you, now you're in a fight. Now you might get
Never
hurt,
do
stuff
that.
like that. You know, and let's say you do win. She's going back to him anyway.
Never, exactly.
And an even worse scenario is you go up there and you try to help her out, and then that dude knocks you out because for some reason he has some
or she turns on you too. I've seen all of it.
Yeah, and you just don't. So you know what you do? Honestly,
let her get her ass whooped.
Turn your head. It's the one time you turn your head. If they're out there in public and she can't walk away and demand help, because if she walks away and she says, "Please help me, I'm really scared," that's totally fine. Help her out. But if they're fighting just to fight in front of you, if they're fighting with each other, not even looking at you,
never get involved.
And they're definitely going home together, don't get involved.
Never get involved.
You're insane. You're insane.
She chose that guy because she's as damaged as he is in all likelihood, and it's not your business. And like you just said, almost 10 times out of 10, it's not you save them. You don't ever save. They choose.
They enjoy it.
That's not the first time they fought like that. Was that day that you saw it. Let's put it that way.
I think they really get off of that, like really like throwing shit. You know what I mean?
I feel bad for those people because it's just it's a psychological dysfunction. Everyone has damage. They're fucked up.
Don't you get addicted to like the rage aspect of it?
I'm sure.
You throw like you said with the hole in the wall and stuff like that. You know what though?
Their parents were probably like that. They were probably raised in these environments. Yeah. When you're a kid and you see that you absorb things in your subconscious when you're a kid and it normalizes things to you, and then that's why history repeats itself all the time. You have to be strong-minded enough to break those cycles and to see something different and to understand where you're going wrong. But if you were raised that way, chances are you're going to be that way. If you don't sit down and meditate and do some self-reflection and really dig down deep and think, you're going to end up just like how you were taught. That's what you're going to do. If your dad beats you, you're going to probably beat your fucking kids, man. That's probably what it's going to be.
My buddy Brandon was the first one in our group to have a car, and he comes picking us.
He was the man,
and it was a silver Honda Accord, so it was like cool, right? It was like right when Fast and the Furious
flux
came out,
capacitor and shit.
Yeah, dude, you know.
I don't know why it's a DeLorean to me.
No, but same shit. You know, more.
You said silver, and I went DeLorean.
More so Fast and the Furious. You know what I mean? Because like you know,
rice burner,
yeah,
rice rocket.
Exactly. So I'm sitting in the front seat, and I was like, "Where are we going?" Like, I'm just glad to be in a car with like my buddy driving stuff. He's like, "We're gonna go pick up my homie Chad." So we go and we pick up this dude Chad, and he's like gangster, like super gangster. I'm like, "What's up, man?" I'm just like trying to be cool and stuff. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "You mind if we pick my girl up?" And Brendan's like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like this is cool, man. We're cruising and stuff." So we go over and we go to this real nice area and we pick this chick up, and she gets in the car and almost immediately starts. She's like, "Chad, I'm sorry," and he's slapping the shit out of her. Now let me tell you something.
She got in the car to get slapped,
dude. He's literally slapping shit at her, screaming at her the entire time. And dude, as a kid, once again, listen, now I'd stop it. I'm not saying I would even fix it, but I'm saying now
I'd get out of my car.
Yeah, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, we drove around for the next 2 hours. This dude's just kicking the shit, just going, "Sorry, Chad." And we're just driving for it. And I'm telling you right now, cars weren't that cool to me after that night. I literally was like, yeah. I'm like, so this is what it is?
Ruined cars for you?
Dude,
we had cars are the shit in my world, man. We had so much fun. One of the best things ever. And like, we all did this, you know? You fucking chop a Dutch up, you get a blunt going, and you just hotbox car and just drive around in the ghetto parts of the neighborhood and just shoot the shit with your buddies.
That would be fun today.
Hit the drive-through, man. Yeah. It's a blast. You got music going. You're having a good-ass time. Roll the window down. The smoke just floods out. It's just fun.
Show up to a house party. Do this. You know what I mean?
It's fun, dude. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
Rolling with your boys was like such a cool thing. Yeah. Does that still happen? Or is now
I hope so. I honestly don't know. I'm becoming an old man. I'm detached.
Now it's in the lobby. Where it goes down is like the lobby of like Call of Duty.
Yeah, you roll with your boys on GTA Online.
Yeah. Dude, they take that serious, man. I'm telling you, I want you to play, but they take that
I do want to play just so I can see the toxicity of this community you keep telling me about.
It's fantastic. They're so awful. And anybody that plays GTA Online out there, they're so awful. Constantly, what you gonna do? I'll kill you in real life.
We're good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Just checking.
Yeah. We went off the rails, you know that, right?
Oh yeah, we knew it was going to be a wild episode. We're literally held together by pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
I'm still very sick.
Dude, yeah.